In the heart of Europe, Hungary was suddenly gripped by an extraordinary Arctic cold wave. What began as a typical winter soon turned into something far more dramatic, as temperatures plummeted to levels rarely seen in this region. The entire country braced itself as the cold front swept in, bringing with it a sense of awe and uncertainty. A vast, icy breath from the far north transformed Budapest and the Great Hungarian Plain into a frozen landscape. The Danube River, usually bustling with activity, slowed under a layer of ice, while the city's famous bridges and historic buildings glistened with frost. The countryside, too, was unrecognizable, fields and forests blanketed in white, stretching as far as the eye could see. This was no ordinary winter chill. It was a biting cold that demanded attention. People hurried through the streets, faces hidden behind scarves and hats, their breath visible in the frigid air. The wind howled through the city, making even the shortest walk feel like a journey through the Arctic itself. The first hints were subtle: a sharper wind, a change in the light, and a sudden stillness that seemed to settle over the city. Soon, the sun's rays grew weaker, casting long, blue shadows across the snow-covered streets, while the trees shivered in the relentless wind. But soon, the transformation was complete. Overnight, autumn's colors vanished, replaced by a world of white. The city and countryside alike were enveloped in a thick, silent blanket of snow, erasing familiar landmarks and creating a landscape both beautiful and forbidding. The cold seeped into every home and street, making daily life a challenge. Windows frosted over and families gathered around heaters and stoves, trying to keep warm. Outside, neighbors worked together to clear sidewalks, while the city's chimneys sent plumes of steam into the icy air. Snow blanketed the cities, muffling sound and creating a world of white silence. Streets that were once filled with the noise of traffic and conversation became hushed, as if the entire nation was holding its breath, waiting for the cold to pass. From the capital to remote villages, life changed overnight as the nation paused to confront nature's power. In rural areas, farmers and villagers adapted quickly, using age-old techniques to keep warm and protect their animals. In the city, people found new ways to connect and help each other, proving that even in the harshest conditions, community spirit endures. We'll explore how this Arctic air journeyed south, tracing its path across Europe until it finally reached Hungary. We'll hear from locals who experienced the cold firsthand and discover the impact it had on daily life, infrastructure, and the nation's collective memory. Through their stories, we'll witness the resilience and adaptability that define the Hungarian spirit. This is the story of when the polar north visited Hungary, leaving an unforgettable mark on its people and landscape, a moment when the ordinary became extraordinary and the nation stood together against the chill of the Arctic. To truly grasp the severity of Hungary's deep freeze, we must first turn our gaze northward, to the Arctic, the planet's natural refrigerator. This vast, icy expanse plays a crucial role in regulating the Earth's climate, acting as a barrier that contains the coldest air masses. Under normal circumstances, the polar vortex, a large area of low pressure and cold air surrounding the Earth's poles, keeps this frigid air locked away. However, there are times when this atmospheric barrier weakens, allowing the cold air to escape. When the vortex wobbles, a lobe of this intensely cold air breaks free and surges southward, creating what we know as a cold wave. This phenomenon can have far-reaching impacts, affecting weather patterns across continents. This particular mass of Arctic air swept across Scandinavia and Eastern Europe, maintaining much of its intensity as it traveled. The cold air mass moved swiftly, bringing with it a dramatic drop in temperatures. The arrival of this cold front in Hungary was nothing short of dramatic. Temperatures plunged rapidly, winds shifted direction, and fine powdery snow began to fall, blanketing the landscape in white. Hungary found itself directly in the path of this powerful Arctic outbreak. The milder Atlantic air, which usually moderates the climate, was effectively blocked, allowing the cold to take hold. The result was a sustained period of extreme cold, creating the perfect conditions for a historic weather event. Temperatures plummeted to record lows, and the landscape transformed into a frozen wonderland. The cold that gripped Hungary had its origins weeks earlier, in the sunless Arctic night. This period of darkness and cold in the Arctic set the stage for the weather patterns that would eventually reach Europe. It's a vivid reminder that distant weather systems, originating far from our own borders, can have a profound impact on our daily lives. The interconnectedness of our planet's climate systems means that changes in one region can ripple across the globe. The Arctic's reach is indeed long, and this time, it extended all the way to Hungary, leaving a lasting impression on the country and its people. The Arctic air's arrival was heralded by relentless, record-breaking snowfall. Dry, powdery snow fell for days, transforming Hungary into a vast, white canvas. Buildings, trees, and hills vanished beneath deep drifts. Even the great Hungarian plain was buried. In the north, over a meter of snow, isolated villages and blocked roads. The sheer volume muffled the world, replacing city noise with a profound stillness. Crews struggled to clear roads, and rooftops groaned under the weight. For children, it was a magical playground. For adults, a logistical nightmare. Iconic bridges and ancient forests were draped in white, wildlife tracks the only movement in the silence. The snow's beauty was matched only by its disruption, a defining feature of this cold wave. This white blanket would be remembered long after it melted. The snow was dramatic, but the cold was historic. As skies cleared, temperatures plunged to levels unseen in generations, -25, even -30 degrees Celsius in some places. The cold was a physical force, sharp to breathe, dangerous to exposed skin. Rivers and lakes froze solid. The Danube carried rare ice flows through Budapest. Trees glittered with ice, and every breath turned instantly to vapor. This deep freeze lasted over a week, testing the endurance of people and infrastructure. Daily highs struggled to reach -15, straining power grids and heating systems. It wasn't just a record-breaking event, it was a relentless, biting grip on the nation. The freeze of 2025 would be remembered for its severity and its persistence. The Arctic cold wave brought Hungary's cities and towns to a near standstill. Budapest's bustling streets emptied as roads turned to ice and public transport faltered. Schools and universities closed, forcing families to adapt to new routines at home. Daily errands became careful missions, shops saw fewer customers, and many businesses shut their doors. The city's vibrant cafe culture vanished, replaced by a search for warmth indoors. Infrastructure strained, water pipes froze, and demand for heating soared. Emergency services faced a surge in accidents and calls for help. The cold wave imposed a slower rhythm, revealing both the strengths and vulnerabilities of urban life. It was a powerful test of resilience for Hungary's cities. The freeze exposed the limits and the adaptability of modern life. In the heart of the Hungarian countryside, the arrival of an Arctic cold wave brought with it a unique blend of hardship and breathtaking beauty. The landscape, once familiar and gentle, was suddenly transformed into a world of white, where every field and forest was blanketed in deep glistening snow. The air was crisp and biting, and the silence of winter was broken only by the distant call of wildlife searching for shelter. The vast expanse of the great Hungarian plain became a frozen desert, stretching endlessly beneath a pale winter sky. Here, wildlife faced a daily struggle, as the thick snow concealed any trace of food. Tracks in the snow told silent stories of animals wandering for miles, driven by hunger and instinct, hoping to find something to sustain them through the bitter cold. Birds and animals, from tiny sparrows to sturdy deer, fought a relentless battle for survival. Many relied on the compassion of rural villagers, who scattered seeds and scraps to help them endure. These small acts of kindness became lifelines, connecting people and wildlife in a shared struggle against the elements. Farmers, too, faced immense challenges. They worked from dawn until dusk, braving the freezing winds to care for their livestock. Each day brought new worries. Would the animals survive the night, and would the crops buried beneath the snow ever recover when spring returned? The extreme cold threatened not only the well-being of animals but also the promise of the coming year's harvest. Frozen fields and shivering livestock were constant reminders of nature's power and unpredictability. Yet, amidst the struggle, the countryside was transformed into a winter wonderland. Forests sparkled with delicate hoarfrost, and every tree branch glittered in the pale sunlight, turning the landscape into a scene of magical beauty. The Buk and Matra mountains, draped in thick layers of snow, looked as if they belonged in a fairy tale. Their peaks and valleys, now hidden beneath a shimmering white blanket, inspired awe and wonder in all who saw them. Nature's harshness revealed its artistry, a frozen masterpiece sculpted by wind and ice. Intricate patterns formed on every surface, and even the smallest twig became a work of art under winter's touch. The cold wave was a raw test of survival for all living things, but it was also a time when the delicate beauty of winter shone brightest. Every challenge was matched by a moment of quiet splendor, reminding everyone of the resilience and grace found in nature. Amidst the struggle, Hungary's countryside glowed in icy splendor, a testament to both the hardships and the wonders that winter brings. In the face of the freeze, Hungarians showed remarkable solidarity. Neighbors checked on each other, cleared snow, and shared food and warmth. Charities and volunteers mobilized, providing shelter, hot meals, and clothing to the vulnerable. Official safety advice spread quickly, helping people stay safe and informed. Families found comfort indoors, playing games, reading, and cooking hearty meals. The cold brought people together, strengthening community bonds. Acts of kindness became daily rituals, creating warmth that defied the weather. The Arctic cold wave tested Hungary, but it also united its people. This Arctic cold wave was a meteorological milestone for Hungary. Its intensity, duration, and record snowfall set it apart from typical winters. Temperatures broke records that had stood for decades, and the freeze lasted far longer than usual. A stable atmospheric block trapped the Arctic air, causing widespread disruption. Occurring in an era of global warming, it challenged assumptions about climate trends. Scientists will study this event for years, as it may signal more frequent cold outbreaks in the future. The freeze of 2025 became a benchmark, a story to be retold and a lesson for the future. It was a powerful reminder of nature's unpredictability and our shared vulnerability. As the Arctic air retreated and the thaw began, Hungary returned to normal, but the lessons lingered. The freeze renewed respect for nature's power and unpredictability. It highlighted the need for preparedness, both individually and nationally. Weaknesses in infrastructure were revealed, prompting calls for greater resilience. The crisis underscored the strength of community, neighbors, friends, and volunteers acting quickly and compassionately. The cold wave tested Hungary but also brought out its best. It was a direct connection to the wild Arctic, a reminder of our place in a changing world. The beauty and hardship of the Great Freeze became part of Hungary's story, and it reminds us, never underestimate the untamable character of the natural world.